Hi, students. We are moving on to um, a, a very interesting area on on statistics. Okay, because whenever we read information or on the internet or from the newspaper, we need to really ask ourselves the question whether those data truly reflect um, the real meaning, whatever the data meant to be. So therefore, today's activity is really interesting, and I hope all of you can, exercise the skills that we're going to learn today, and eventually, when there are data that you read online or in the newspaper, you can actually start questioning. Okay, turn to page 54. So there's this question. They say Rocket Sports Drink is now Australia's favorite drink. So it's like making a claim, that Gatorade is a favorite drink within Australia. So how can we prove it? So let's see how this set of data was collected. Okay, they actually said that 95% of the people surveyed at Rocket Sports Drink launch said that Rocket Sports Drink was their favorite drink. Hmm. Do you think this group of people will be good enough to represent the whole Australia? Because they're talking about Australia's favorite drink. So think about it. Give your reason. Okay? Give your reason. So is this statement credible? So always ask. Our God has given us this mind, to always ask questions. Is this credible? By having 95% of people who visited this sports drink launch, by just having that, 95% of them seems like a lot. But is it a good representation of the whole Australia? I'll leave it to you to answer. So do state your reasons. Okay, B. They say 90% of our children read every night. Oh, so let's see how this data was collected. They say 90 out of 100 children interviewed at a children's bookshop said that they read every night. So by just asking those people at the bookshop saying that they read every night, so it's 90% of them. So would that be good enough to say that 90% of all the children read every night? All the children, not only in Australia, I'm talking about the whole wide world. Is it good enough? So is it credible? So I'll need you to explain whether it's a credible or not credible statement. Okay. Next one. They say there are more women than men in Australia. So there's a claim there are more women than men in Australia. So then, it's taken from a recent government census found that women outnumbered men slightly in Australia. Do we know what's a census? Okay, some of you, some of you, some of you are nodding your head. Some of you may not know. Okay, a census is being done every 4 years in Australia. So a census is basically a very big survey conducted by the government, and all 18 years old and above must answer the questions. So usually a family will have one questionnaire, and we will need to answer it and send it back to the government. And if we don't, it's against the law. So it's a very accurate set of data collected by the government. So when the government say there are more women than men, I will believe them because it's collected from the census. So I probably have answered this question for you already, isn't it? Good. I can hear some of you saying thank you. Let's move on. Okay. So there's another interesting question here talking about Australia Asian Mining Company, AMC. They have two graphs there, and the statement under graph A, they actually say huge rise in the price of AMC shares. And graph B, they say market unsure of AMC shares. First and foremost, looking at A, has the value of the shares gone up from 46.50 somewhere there to about 46.80? Yeah, it's gone up by 30 cents, isn't it? 30 cents out of that $46. Is that really significant? Not really. Personally, I think maybe, I will use another phrase instead. There's a slight rise in the price of AMC shares, then I will probably buy it. So I think when you use huge rise, I will expect a bigger jump than that. And what about market unsure of AMC shares? Oh, if you look at it, it's going up and down. But from January, it was $43 to about $46.50. I mean, over 6 months, it has gone up by $3.50, which is quite all right. Would I actually classify unsure? Yes and no, because you do see the graph having the jacket, going up and down, during each of the break. So I would still think that it is a valid statement, market unsure of AMC shares. So I would say graph A is the one that is more misleading because it has not really increased too much. Okay, so do state your reason why the statements are not true or you agree. So I've already given you some clues on how you can answer this question. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed the lesson. I hope to see you very soon. Okay, bye.